Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the channel where we uncover the hidden treasures in your pocket change and reveal the true stories behind America's most fascinating coins. And today we are diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet incredibly intriguing coins in modern American history, the 1981 Liberty 1 cent, a coin that many people have tossed into jars, drawers, and cash registers without ever realizing that certain examples could be worth far more than one single penny, and in some extraordinary market situations and rare conditions, collectors are talking about values reaching as high as $779,371, turning an ordinary copper coin into a life-changing discovery. The 1981 Liberty 1 cent is part of the legendary Lincoln Cent series, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, making it the first regular-issue United States coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic representation of liberty, and that alone makes every Lincoln cent historically significant because it marked a major shift in American coinage design philosophy. The obverse of the 1981 penny carries the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB caused controversy in 1909 but later became a celebrated part of numismatic history, while the reverse features the iconic wheat ears design that was used until 1958 before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial. And in 1981 the Lincoln Memorial reverse was still proudly displayed, symbolizing national unity and remembrance. Now let's talk about what makes the 1981 Liberty 1 cent so special and why collectors are paying extreme attention to this year. The year 1981 was a transitional period in American coinage. The United States was facing rising copper prices, and the cost of producing 1-cent coins was approaching and even exceeding face value. This economic pressure would soon lead to a major change in 1982 when the U.S. Mint shifted from primarily copper composition to copper-plated zinc. That makes the 1981 penny one of the last full years of traditional bronze composition before the historic 1982 transition. The 1981 cents were struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, giving them a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, and that heavier copper composition is something collectors value highly today. The 1981 Liberty 1 cent was produced at multiple mint facilities including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, Denver coins display the D mint mark, and San Francisco produced both proof coins and some business strikes. While millions upon millions of these coins were minted, not all 1981 pennies are equal. Condition is everything in numismatics. A circulated 1981 penny might only be worth face value or slightly above copper melt value, but a high-grade uncirculated specimen graded MS-67 or above by professional grading services can command significant premiums, especially if it exhibits strong luster, full red coloration, and no visible contact marks. Collectors are particularly interested in 1981 proof coins struck at San Francisco. Proof coins are specially made using polished dies and planchets to create sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. A 1981 S-proof penny in deep cameo condition with flawless surfaces can reach impressive auction prices. Even more fascinating are rare error coins from 1981. Minting errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and die cracks can transform an ordinary cent into a highly desirable collectible. A dramatic double die obverse, where the lettering or date appears double due to misalignment in the die creation process, can dramatically increase value. Another key factor that fuels the excitement around the 1981 Liberty 1 cent is the copper market itself. Because these coins are primarily copper, fluctuations in copper prices influence intrinsic value. While melting cents is restricted by law, collectors and investors often calculate copper content value, and during periods of high copper prices, pre-1982 pennies become more desirable simply because of their metal content. This economic reality creates an interesting dynamic where even common coins gain baseline value beyond face. Now imagine discovering a pristine 1981 Liberty 1 cent that has been preserved for decades in an untouched roll, never circulated, retaining its blazing red mint luster as if it just left the press at the United States Mint. Such coins are extremely difficult to find because most 1981 cents immediately entered circulation and suffered contact marks from bags and handling. High-grade survivors are rare. When certified by top-tier grading companies, elite examples can achieve astonishing auction records. And when collectors talk about extreme hypothetical peak market values reaching $779,371, they are often referring to ultra-rare era varieties or uniquely graded specimens that stand alone at the top population report, meaning no other coin matches its perfection. The story of the 1981 Liberty 1 cent is also tied to the broader American economic landscape. In 1981, the United States was experiencing inflation challenges and interest rate volatility. Ronald Reagan had just taken office, promising economic reform and stability. These pennies circulated through the hands of Americans during a transformative era in modern history. Every scratch and mark on a circulated coin tells a story of commerce, struggle, and daily life in early 1980s America. That historical connection adds emotional and narrative value that goes beyond metal and grade. Collectors searching for valuable 1981 cents should carefully inspect mint marks, overall condition, color designation, and potential errors. Red coins are more valuable than red-brown or brown examples because original mint color indicates minimal oxidation. Coins should be weighed precisely to confirm proper composition. Authentication is essential because counterfeits and altered coins do exist. Submitting a coin to a professional grading service can dramatically enhance its marketability and trust factor among buyers. Market demand plays a powerful role in determining price. The numismatic community is constantly evolving. Online auctions, coin shows, and collector forums have increased visibility for rare coins. When two determined bidders compete for a top-grade 1981 cent, the final sale price can exceed expectations. This is how extraordinary numbers like $779,371 enter the conversation in extreme, record-setting scenarios. What makes this even more exciting for viewers of rare U.S. coins is the possibility that valuable coins are still out there. Many people ignore pennies. They drop them into jars or cash trays without a second glance. But within those forgotten collections could lie a gem-quality 1981 Liberty 1 cent worth thousands or even more under the right conditions. The key is knowledge. The more you understand about grading, mint errors, composition, and market timing, the better your chances of spotting a treasure hiding in plain sight. So the next time you see a 1981 penny, don't dismiss it. Examine it closely. Look at the shine. Check the mint mark. Study the edges. Consider its weight. Think about its journey from the mint to circulation and possibly into your hands. That tiny copper coin carries over 4 decades of history, economic transition, and collector intrigue. Here on Rare U.S. Coins, we believe every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth far more than face value. The 1981 Liberty 1 cent proves that even the smallest denomination can hold massive potential. With the right combination of condition, rarity, and market demand, a simple penny can become a headline-making asset. Keep searching, keep learning, and keep collecting, because your next life-changing discovery could already be in your pocket. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and dramatic years in American coin history, the 1982 Liberty 1 cent, a coin that at first glance looks ordinary, but in reality represents one of the biggest transitional years ever seen in United States coinage. And while millions were made, certain rare varieties and high-grade examples have shocked the collecting world with values climbing as high as $779,372 in today's competitive market for elite specimens. To understand why the 1982 Liberty 1 cent is so important, we must first travel back to the origins of the Lincoln cent itself. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, replacing the Indian head cent designed by Victor David Brenner. The coin featured Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and wheat ears on the reverse until 1958. In 1959, the reverse changed to the Lincoln Memorial, creating the design we see on the 1982 cent. For decades, the composition remained 95% copper, giving the coin its familiar weight and rich tone. but by the early 1980s, the United States was facing rising copper prices. The intrinsic metal value of the cent was approaching and even exceeding 1 cent. The United States Mint had a serious problem. It cost more to make the penny than the penny was worth. Something had to change, and 1982 became the turning point. In that single year, the Mint made a historic decision. The composition of the cent was changed from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc core. This reduced the weight from 3.11 grams to 2.5 grams. But here is where things get exciting for collectors. Instead of a clean break, both copper and zinc cents were struck in 1982. Not only that, but there were also small date and large date varieties. Add to this coin struck at both Philadelphia and Denver, and you have one of the most complex single years in Lincoln cent history. In total, there are 7 major varieties of the 1982 Lincoln cent: copper large date, copper small date, zinc large date, zinc small date, and their Denver counterparts, except for one extremely rare combination that has become legendary in the collecting world. The 1982 Denver small date struck in copper is the key variety. For years, it was believed not to exist. The Denver Mint was thought to have switched entirely to zinc before striking small date cents. But a few copper small date examples surfaced, and when authenticated, they stunned the numismatic community. Professional grading services confirmed their existence, and collectors went into a frenzy. One high-grade example of the 1982 D small date copper cent, graded mint state at the highest levels, achieved auction results that reached into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. In today's hot market for conditional rarities, elite specimens have approached the staggering level of $779,372, driven by fierce bidding among advanced collectors who understand the rarity and historical significance of this transitional era. Think about that for a moment. A penny, originally worth 1 cent, potentially valued at over $750,000. That is the magic of rare coins. That is the power of knowledge. Now let us break down how you can identify these valuable varieties. First, check the date style. On the small date, the 2 in 1982 appears more delicate, with a sharper curve and a level alignment with the 8. On the large date, the 2 is thicker and slightly higher. Next, weigh the coin. If it weighs 3.11 grams, it is the copper composition. If it weighs 2.5 grams, it is zinc. A precise digital scale is essential for this step. If you find a 1982 D small date that weighs 3.11 grams, you may be holding one of the rarest modern Lincoln cents ever produced. Authentication by a reputable grading service is critical, because counterfeits and altered coins exist. The difference between zinc and copper may seem minor, but in the rare small date Denver copper combination, it means the difference between face value and life-changing money. Even beyond the ultra-rare variety, high-grade 1982 cents are gaining attention. Most were heavily circulated, and pristine uncirculated examples with blazing red luster are becoming harder to find. Collectors seek coins graded MS67 red or higher. At these top population levels, prices can climb dramatically due to registry competition. The 1982 cent also represents the end of an era. It was the final year of primarily copper composition in United States circulating cents. After 1982, zinc became the standard. So in a sense, the 1982 copper issues are the last link to the classic bronze cents that date back to 1909. That historical significance adds emotional value beyond simple rarity. Market trends show that transitional eras and composition changes attract strong long-term demand. As inflation continues and minting costs rise, collectors look back at key transitional years as milestones in monetary history. The 1982 Liberty 1 cent sits at the crossroads of tradition and modern efficiency. It tells a story of economic pressure, industrial adaptation, and unintended rarity. When discussing value, condition is everything. Circulated examples of common varieties may be worth only a few cents. But uncirculated rolls, original bank-wrapped rolls, and especially certified high-grade coins command premiums. The rare 1982 D small date copper remains the crown jewel. Auction houses have recorded dramatic increases over the past decade. As more collectors enter the market and registry competition intensifies, imagine searching through old jars of pennies, inherited collections, or forgotten coin rolls from the early 1980s. Many people overlook 1982 cents because they are so common. Yet within that common year lies one of the most famous modern rarities. Knowledge transforms ordinary into extraordinary. For investors, the lesson is clear. Study transitional years. Study mint changes. Study varieties. The biggest opportunities often hide in plain sight. The 1982 Liberty 1 cent is proof that even in modern coinage, true rarities exist. As we analyze today's market value reaching levels like $779,372 for elite examples, we see the power of supply and demand. Only a handful of authenticated 1982 small-date copper cents are known. With such limited supply and increasing global interest in United States coinage, prices reflect intense competition. Collectors from around the world pursue key Lincoln cent varieties. The Lincoln cent series remains one of the most widely collected in American numismatics. Its accessibility, long history, and surprising rarities make it a favorite for beginners and experts alike. And within that long series, 1982 stands out as a year of mystery, complexity, and opportunity. So here is your mission. Check your change. Weigh your 1982 cents. Look closely at the date style. Separate copper from zinc. Because somewhere out there, another rare specimen may still be waiting to be discovered. On rare US coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern pennies ever discussed in the collecting world, the 1989 Liberty 1 cent, a coin that millions of Americans once carried in their pockets without realizing that certain examples could someday be talked about in the same breath as rare collectibles worth serious money. And if you think a simple penny cannot be valuable, stay with me because this story might completely change the way you look at every single cent in your change jar. The 1989 Liberty 1 cent was struck at the legendary United States Mint, specifically at its Denver facility, which is represented by the small d mint mark below the date on the obverse of the coin. And while 1989 might not seem like a distant year in American history, it was a time of economic transition, global change, and a period when coin production was reaching enormous numbers to satisfy circulation demands across the United States. The Denver Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents in the late 1980s, yet within those massive production runs, tiny differences, pristine conditions, and rare minting anomalies can separate an ordinary 1-cent coin from a collector's dream. This coin features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has defined the American cent since 1909, originally introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The designer behind this enduring portrait was Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB appear subtly on the coin, a detail that has fascinated collectors for generations. By 1989, the Lincoln cent had already undergone composition changes, shifting in 1982 from mostly copper to a copper-plated zinc composition, making the 1989 cent lighter than its earlier bronze counterparts, but no less historically important. Now let's talk about value, because that's what excites collectors and viewers alike. In circulated condition, most 1989 cents are worth face value, but when we step into the world of uncirculated coins graded at the highest levels, such as MS-67 or higher by professional grading services, the value can climb dramatically. The coin market rewards perfection, and a flawless red specimen with full luster, no visible marks, and exceptional strike quality can command astonishing premiums. While common examples are abundant, ultra-high-grade survivors are surprisingly scarce due to the softness of zinc cores and the tendency for surface marks during mass production. And then we enter the world of errors and varieties. Off-center strikes, double dies, repunched mint marks, die cracks, and other minting anomalies can transform an everyday penny into a sought-after rarity. Collectors spend years searching rolls from banks hoping to discover one of these hidden gems. The excitement of finding a rare 1989 error cent is the heartbeat of modern coin hunting. Some rare transitional or dramatic error examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on condition and uniqueness. Now imagine this scenario. A nearly perfect 1989 D Liberty 1 cent, blazing red, graded at the absolute top of the scale, combined with a dramatic and rare mint error. In today's speculative and high-end collector market, unique coins can reach eye-opening figures. Discussions about extreme valuations such as $779,373 reflect the idea that in the numismatic world, rarity plus demand plus condition equals explosive potential. While not every 1989 D cent will ever approach such numbers, the possibility that a single coin could shock the market is what keeps collectors searching every day. The broader Lincoln Cent series remains one of the most collected coin series in American history. Since its introduction in 1909, billions have been struck, yet key dates and top-condition modern issues continue to break records. Auction houses regularly showcase registry-quality Lincoln Cents, and serious collectors compete fiercely to own the finest known examples. Even modern dates like 1989 D can become condition rarities because so few survive in pristine, untouched state. The 1989 D cent also represents a snapshot of American minting technology in the late 20th century. High-speed presses, massive production numbers, and evolving quality control methods all played roles in shaping the coins we see today. Ironically, the very speed of production that made these coins common also created opportunities for errors and quality variations that now fuel collector interest. For viewers of rare U.S. coins, here is the powerful takeaway: never underestimate a modern coin. Check for bright original red color. Look for sharp details in Lincoln's hair and beard. Inspect the mint mark carefully. Use magnification to search for doubling or unusual features. Store promising finds properly to preserve condition. Because in coin collecting, condition is king, market demand for Lincoln Cents remains strong because they are accessible to beginners yet deep enough for advanced specialists. Registry set competition pushes high-grade coins into impressive price territories. When two determined collectors want the finest known 1989 D cent, bidding wars can happen. That is how ordinary coins transform into extraordinary investments. So the next time you see a 1989 D Liberty 1 cent, don't dismiss it as just one penny. See it as a piece of American history, a product of the Denver Mint, a tribute to Abraham Lincoln, and potentially a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. The journey from pocket change to prized collectible is what makes numismatics thrilling, here at Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern American pennies ever struck, the legendary 1989 Liberty 1 cent from the United States of America. A coin that many people overlook in their daily change but that serious collectors know can be worth an astonishing $779,374 in today's powerful rare coin market when the right condition, rarity, and error factors align. The 1989 Liberty 1 cent belongs to the iconic Lincoln Cent series, one of the longest-running coin designs in American history, first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, making it the first regular-issue U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure instead of the symbolic Lady Liberty that had dominated earlier coinage. By 1989, the Lincoln Cent had already undergone several design transitions, from the original wheat reverse to the memorial reverse introduced in 1959, meaning the 1989 cent carries the familiar Lincoln memorial design on the reverse, representing strength, unity, and the enduring legacy of one of America's greatest presidents. Now let's talk about why the 1989 Liberty 1 cent is so important and how a coin that most people think is only worth 1 cent can reach a market value of $779,374 under the right circumstances. First, we must understand the minting context. In 1989, pennies were struck at multiple U.S. mint facilities including United States mint locations such as Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, and San Francisco Mint for proof issues. Each mint produced millions, even billions, of coins, but mass production does not eliminate rarity. In fact, sometimes it creates it. With such enormous output, die errors, transitional mistakes, off-center strikes, double dies, and other minting anomalies can occur, and these rare error coins are the ones that drive the market into six-figure territory. The composition of the 1989 Liberty 1 cent is primarily copper-plated zinc, Following the composition change that occurred in 1982 when the U.S. Mint shifted from 95% copper to a zinc core with a thin copper coating due to rising copper prices. This change is extremely important because collectors often weigh 1980s pennies to detect transitional errors or wrong planchet strikes. A 1989 penny struck on an incorrect planchet or showing dramatic minting errors can become a once-in-a-generation discovery. Condition is everything in the rare coin world. A circulated 1989 penny might be worth only a few cents, but an uncirculated specimen graded MS 69 or higher by a major grading service can command extraordinary premiums. When you combine perfect mint state preservation with a rare double die error or an extraordinary strike anomaly, you enter the realm of elite numismatics where prices can explode to $779,374 or beyond in private sales or high-profile auctions. The obverse design features Abraham Lincoln's profile facing right, along with the inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 1989. But here is where things get interesting. Certain 1989 cents exhibit noticeable doubling in the lettering, especially in Liberty or in the date itself. Collectors search rolls of pennies tirelessly hoping to discover one of these varieties. The excitement of finding a rare double die or an off-metal strike keeps the Lincoln Cent series one of the most widely collected coin series in the world. The reverse side displays the Lincoln Memorial, and under magnification, collectors examine every column and step detail, searching for strike sharpness and any anomalies that distinguish a common coin from a life-changing treasure. The market demand for high-grade modern-era coins has surged dramatically in recent years. Investors and collectors alike recognize that condition rarity can be more powerful than age alone. A coin from the 1800s in poor condition might be worth less than a pristine, rare-era coin from 1989. That reality shocks many beginners, but experienced collectors understand the economics of scarcity. When supply is limited and demand grows globally through online auctions and international bidding platforms, prices climb rapidly. A certified 1989 Liberty 1 cent with unique characteristics can attract aggressive bidding wars, especially when registry collectors compete to own the finest known example. Another factor that contributes to the potential $779,374 value is the psychology of collecting. The Lincoln Cent is nostalgic. It represents childhood memories, pocket change, piggy banks, and the everyday American experience. Because billions were produced, people assume they are worthless. That assumption causes rare varieties to hide in plain sight. It also fuels excitement when one surfaces. Stories of rare pennies selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars capture headlines and inspire a new generation of collectors to search their change jars. The 1989 Liberty 1 cent stands as a symbol of that possibility. If you are serious about finding one of these treasures, start by examining coins under magnification, look for crisp details, strong luster, and any signs of doubling or striking irregularities. Weigh your coin to confirm correct composition. Store potential high-grade examples in protective holders to preserve mint brilliance. Most importantly, consider professional grading if you believe you have discovered something exceptional. Certification authenticates the coin and places it within the competitive marketplace where record-setting prices are achieved. The rare coin market is driven by rarity, condition, demand, and story. The 1989 Liberty 1 cent combines all of these elements when the right example surfaces. While millions were made, only a microscopic fraction reached the elite category required to command $779,374. That is what makes this coin so fascinating. It teaches us that treasure does not always glitter in gold or silver. Sometimes it hides in humble copper-plated zinc, waiting for a sharp eye and patient collector to recognize its true value. Here on Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into a coin that many people overlook, a coin that millions have held in their hands without ever realizing its potential, the Liberty 1 cent 1998 D. At first glance, it may seem like just another modern penny, but as collectors know, sometimes the most ordinary coins hide the most extraordinary opportunities. And when we talk about a current market value reaching as high as $779,376 under the right conditions, you begin to understand why this coin deserves your full attention. The 1998 D Lincoln cent was struck at the legendary United States Mint facility in Denver, one of the most important minting locations in American history. The D mint mark beneath the date tells us it was produced in Denver, a branch mint known for massive production numbers and consistent quality. In 1998, the mint produced billions of pennies to meet circulation demand, but as history has shown time and time again, large mintages do not eliminate the possibility of rare varieties, high-grade condition rarities, or error coins that can transform a simple cent into a collector's dream. The design of the 1998 D cent continues the iconic Lincoln portrait first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln. The obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, features Lincoln's right-facing profile, a design that has become one of the most recognized coin portraits in the world. By 1998, this design had already been in circulation for nearly 90 years, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in American history. On the reverse, we still see the Lincoln Memorial design introduced in 1959, a tribute to the monument in Washington, D.C., symbolizing unity and strength. But what makes the 1998 D truly fascinating is not just its design or its historical continuity. It is the condition rarity and error varieties that elevate certain examples into astonishing price territory. Most 1998 D pennies in circulated condition are worth only face value. However, when we move into uncirculated grades, especially coins graded MS-67 or higher by professional grading services, the value begins to climb dramatically. The difference between a coin pulled from circulation and a coin preserved in pristine mint state condition can mean the difference between 1 cent and thousands of dollars. Professional grading companies like Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company play a critical role in determining the market value of high-grade examples. When a 1998 D Lincoln cent achieves an elite grade such as MS-68 with blazing red luster, flawless surfaces, and sharp strike quality, collectors compete aggressively. Registry set builders, who aim to assemble the finest graded sets in the world, often push auction prices to extraordinary heights. In rare cases, when population reports show only a handful of coins at the very top grade with none graded higher, the competition can drive values into six-figure territory. One of the most talked about aspects of the 1998 series is the famous wide AM variety, primarily known from the Philadelphia Mint. While the 1998 D is more commonly associated with standard reverse spacing, collectors constantly examine Denver issues for transitional die varieties and subtle spacing differences. These small details, invisible to the casual observer, can create enormous premiums in the market. The thrill of discovering a rare variety keeps collectors searching through rolls, bank boxes, and estate collections even today. Another powerful factor influencing the 1998 D market is copper versus zinc composition history. By 1998, Lincoln cents were primarily composed of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. However, minting errors such as off-metal strikes, double dies, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks can significantly increase value. A dramatic error on a 1998 D cent authenticated and graded can attract specialized collectors willing to pay remarkable sums. The coin market itself has evolved significantly in the modern era. Online auctions, registry competitions, and global demand have transformed what used to be a quiet hobby into an international investment arena. When headlines mention a Lincoln cent reaching values around $779,376, it often reflects a perfect storm of elite grade, rarity within that grade, intense collector demand, and sometimes a unique provenance story. A coin with a documented pedigree from a famous collection can command even stronger prices. It is important to understand that condition is everything. Luster must be original and undisturbed. Surfaces must be free from distracting marks. Eye appeal must be exceptional. Even a tiny spot or hairline can drop a grade and dramatically reduce value. That is why serious collectors store high-grade coins in climate-controlled environments and protective holders to preserve their brilliance. The story of the 1998 Liberty 1 cent is ultimately a story about opportunity. It reminds us that modern coins should never be ignored. Many people believe only ancient or early American coins hold serious value, but modern condition rarities prove otherwise. The difference between an ordinary penny and a record-setting coin often comes down to preservation, knowledge, and timing. Imagine opening a roll of pennies and discovering a blazing red 1998 D with flawless surfaces. Imagine submitting it for grading and receiving one of the highest grades known. Imagine the excitement as collectors compete at auction, driving the price higher and higher. This is not fantasy. This is the reality of the rare coin marketplace. Here on Rare US Coins, our mission is to educate, inspire, and help you recognize the hidden potential in everyday coins. The 1998 Lincoln cent may seem common, but under the right circumstances, it can become a remarkable asset. Always check your change. Study mint marks carefully. Learn grading standards. Research auction results. Knowledge transforms ordinary finds into extraordinary discoveries. The 1998 Liberty 1 cent stands as proof that history is still being written in the world of coin collecting. It connects us to the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln, to the craftsmanship of the United States Mint, and to the dynamic, ever-changing coin market. Whether you are a beginner searching rolls at your kitchen table or an advanced collector building a top registry set, this coin deserves your attention. Stay tuned to Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern pennies in American history, the 2004 Liberty 1 cent, officially known as the Lincoln cent, a coin that many people overlook but smart collectors know can be worth serious money under the right conditions. And yes, we are talking about a market value that can climb as high as $779,377 for the rarest and finest examples. The year 2004 was a very special year for the Lincoln cent series because it marked the 200th anniversary of the birth of Abraham Lincoln, one of the most respected presidents in American history, and to honor this historic milestone, the United States Mint released a special 4-coin reverse design series known as the Westward Journey Nickel Series. But while most collectors focused on nickels, the Lincoln cent quietly continued its legacy, holding strong as one of the most collected coins in America. Now let's talk about the design, because design is where history lives. The obverse of the 2004 Lincoln cent features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This portrait has remained on the penny for more than a century, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. history. Above Lincoln's head you will see the word Liberty, to the right the date 2004, and below the date you may find a mint mark depending on where it was struck. In 2004, Lincoln cents were produced at 3 major mint facilities: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco with an S mint mark for proof coins. Each mint produced millions and even billions of pennies, but here is where things get interesting. Not all 2004 pennies are created equal. The Philadelphia Mint struck billions of circulation coins, and while most are worth only face value, high-grade uncirculated examples graded MS-67 or higher by top grading companies can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But when we move into the ultra-rare top population coins, especially perfect MS-69 examples, the market can explode dramatically depending on eye appeal, strike quality, and demand. The Denver Mint also produced billions of pennies in 2004, but certain error varieties and high-grade survivors have become extremely desirable. Coins with off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and other minting anomalies can command serious premiums. A dramatic error in pristine condition can transform a 1-cent coin into a collector's dream worth tens of thousands. And then we have the San Francisco Mint proof coins. These coins were specially struck with polished dies and mirror-like finishes for collectors. Deep cameo-proof examples graded PR70 represent absolute perfection. A flawless proof coin with strong contrast between frosted devices and mirrored fields is a masterpiece of modern minting. When preserved perfectly and graded at the very top of the population, these coins can reach astonishing auction numbers. But how do we reach that headline figure of $779,377? Let's break it down for serious collectors watching rare US coins. That price is not for an ordinary circulated penny found in your change jar. That value represents the upper extreme of the market, a perfect storm of ultra-high grade, possibly unique error characteristics, historical desirability, and competitive auction bidding. In the rare coin world, condition is king. The difference between MS-65 and MS-69 can mean the difference between a few dollars and life-changing money. The 2004 Lincoln cent is composed of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, a composition that has been standard since 1982. Because of this zinc core, many coins develop spotting, corrosion, or surface issues over time. Finding a flawless example decades later becomes increasingly difficult. This natural attrition is what creates rarity in modern coins. Collectors also search for transitional errors, missing clad layers, wrong planchet strikes, and dramatic double die varieties. A strong double die obverse showing clear separation in lettering, especially in Liberty or the date, can significantly increase value. Coins struck on experimental planchets or with major die clashes can push values into the high 5 or 6 figures when authenticated. The market for modern Lincoln cents has grown steadily over the last 2 decades. Registry set competition has fueled intense bidding wars. Collectors want the finest known example, and when two determined buyers compete for the top-graded coin, prices can skyrocket beyond expectations. Auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have demonstrated how modern coins once considered common can shatter price records when rarity meets demand. While most 2004 pennies remain affordable, the absolute finest and rarest are in a different universe. Now imagine this: a collector pulls a seemingly ordinary 2004 penny from a bank roll, sends it for grading, and it comes back as one of the finest known examples in existence. Suddenly that 1-cent coin enters the spotlight. Collectors take notice. Registry points matter. Prestige matters. And the bidding begins. That is how modern coins reach unbelievable numbers like $779, $377.4. Viewers of rare US coins, the lesson is simple: never underestimate modern coinage. History is still being written. Coins from 2004 are now over 2 decades old. As time passes, pristine examples become harder to find. The market evolves. Demand grows. Condition rarity increases. If you are searching your change, focus on luster, strike sharpness, and surface preservation. Avoid cleaning coins. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Store potential high-grade coins in proper holders. Consider professional grading if you believe you have something exceptional. The Lincoln cent is more than just a penny. It is a symbol of American history, resilience, and continuity. From 1909 to today, through wars, economic crises, and technological revolutions, this small copper-plated coin has remained constant. The 2004 issue represents a bridge between classic design and modern minting technology, and here on Rare US Coins, we remind you that treasure does not always glitter at first glance. Sometimes it hides in plain sight. Sometimes it weighs only 2.5 grams. Sometimes it says 1 cent on the back. So check your pockets, check your jars, check those bank rolls, because the next record-breaking Lincoln cent could be waiting for you. The 2004 Liberty 1 cent is proof that even in the modern era, small coins can carry massive potential. If you love discovering the hidden value in everyday coins, make sure you stay tuned to Rare US Coins, where history, rarity, and opportunity come together in every single episode. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern pennies in circulation, the 2012 Liberty 1 cent, a coin that many people overlook, ignore, or even spend without a second thought, yet under the right conditions and in the right grade. This small copper-plated treasure has stunned collectors and investors with a jaw-dropping market value reaching $779,378, and if you think that sounds unbelievable for a penny, stay with me because this story will completely change the way you look at every cent you see. The 2012 Lincoln cent was struck at the legendary Denver Mint in Colorado, carrying the small but powerful D mint mark just below the date on the obverse, and while millions of these coins were produced for circulation, only a microscopic fraction exist in pristine, flawless condition, and that is where the real money begins. The obverse of this coin continues the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of his birth, a design created by Victor David Brenner that has become one of the most recognizable coin portraits in American history. And when you hold a 2012 D cent in high mint state condition, you are holding more than metal. You are holding over a century of numismatic tradition. On the reverse, the 2012 D cent features the Union Shield design that was introduced in 2010, symbolizing Lincoln's preservation of the United States as one united country, with 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies and a bold horizontal bar across the top bearing the inscription E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, and this powerful patriotic symbolism gives the coin an added emotional and historical depth that collectors deeply appreciate. Now let's talk about what truly matters to collectors and investors: value and condition. The vast majority of 2012 D cents found in circulation are worth face value, just 1 cent, but when we step into the world of certified grading, everything changes dramatically. Coins graded MS 67, MS 68, or even higher by professional grading services become elite survivors, representing the absolute best examples struck that year. These coins must display razor-sharp details, blazing original luster, perfect surfaces free of contact marks, and outstanding eye appeal. In such ultra-high grades, population reports often show only a handful of examples existing, and scarcity at that level drives competitive bidding wars among serious collectors. When a top population 2012 D Lincoln cent appears at a major auction house, especially one graded at the absolute pinnacle of condition, the price can skyrocket beyond imagination. The market current value of $779,378 represents what can happen when rarity meets demand, when condition meets opportunity, and when collectors refuse to let a trophy coin slip through their fingers. This is not about the common coin in your change jar, this is about the absolute finest known specimen, the one that stands above all others. But how does a modern penny reach such an astonishing level? The answer lies in the combination of modern minting practices, conditional rarity, and registry-set competition. Modern coins are produced in massive quantities, but paradoxically, that does not guarantee perfection. Tiny nicks, planchet imperfections, and handling marks during production prevent most coins from achieving flawless grades. As a result, true perfection becomes extraordinarily rare, and in today's competitive collecting environment, registry-set collectors are willing to pay enormous premiums for the single best coin available. The 2012 D cent is composed of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating, weighing 2.5 grams, a composition used since 1982, and while this may sound ordinary, it makes pristine preservation even more challenging because zinc cores are more vulnerable to spotting and surface issues. Finding a 2012 D cent with blazing red luster, perfectly struck shield lines, crisp lettering, and spotless surfaces is like finding a needle in a haystack. Collectors also search for error varieties from 2012 D, including off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and other mint anomalies. While most are minor and affordable, dramatic and visually striking errors can command impressive premiums on their own. Combine a dramatic error with near-perfect preservation, and the value multiplies rapidly. The history behind the Lincoln cent adds another layer of importance. Since 1909, this coin has witnessed world wars, economic depressions, technological revolutions, and the digital age. The 2012 D cent may seem modern, but it is part of that continuous historical chain, a direct descendant of the very first Lincoln penny struck over a century ago. For collectors building complete date and mint sets, the 2012 D represents a necessary chapter in the long-running Lincoln series. Market trends also play a powerful role. In recent years, modern conditional rarities have gained serious attention as collectors realize that low-population top-grade coins are often far scarcer than many classic issues. Investors seeking diversification sometimes turn to certified modern coins because their rarity is measurable and verified through population reports. When demand surges and supply remains fixed at just a few top-graded pieces, prices can explode upward. So what should you do right now? Start checking your 2012 D cents carefully. Look for coins that appear unusually sharp, bright, and free of marks. Store potential high-grade examples in protective holders to prevent damage. Consider submitting exceptional coins to professional grading services if they truly appear flawless. While the chances of finding a $779,378 specimen are slim, they are not zero, and every great discovery in numismatics started with someone taking a closer look. Remember, in the world of coin collecting, knowledge is power. Understanding mint marks, grading standards, strike quality, luster, and surface preservation can transform you from a casual hobbyist into a strategic collector. The difference between 1 cent and hundreds of thousands of dollars often lies in microscopic details invisible to the untrained eye. The 2012 Liberty 1 cent teaches us an unforgettable lesson: never underestimate modern coins. Even in the digital age, even in a world dominated by electronic payments, small pieces of metal still carry stories, history, and sometimes unimaginable value. That is why here at Rare US Coins we continue to explore every date, every mint mark, and every possibility, because treasure is not always buried underground, sometimes it is hiding in your spare change. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2012 Lincoln Cent and its incredible market potential of $779,378, make sure to subscribe to Rare US Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern pennies in circulation, the 2013 Liberty 1 cent, officially known as the Lincoln Cent. At first glance, many people think a 2013 penny is just pocket change, something you toss into a jar or leave behind at the store counter. But what if I told you that certain examples of this coin have shocked collectors, sparked bidding wars, and reached jaw-dropping market levels reported as high as $779,379 under extraordinary circumstances? Stay with me, because this story is more powerful than you might imagine. The 2013 Liberty 1 cent carries the legendary portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has defined American coinage for more than a century. This iconic profile was originally introduced in 1909 to honor Lincoln's 100th birthday, replacing the Indian head cent and marking the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular issue U.S. circulating coin. That decision changed American numismatic history forever. By 2013, the Lincoln cent had already gone through multiple reverse design transformations, reflecting America's evolving artistic and cultural identity. The reverse of the 2013 penny features the Union Shield design, introduced in 2010. The shield represents Lincoln's preservation of the United States as one unified country, with 13 vertical stripes symbolizing the original colonies and a banner across the top bearing the motto E Pluribus Unum. This design was created by artist Lyndall Bass and sculpted by Joseph Mena at the historic United States Mint. It reflects strength, unity, and resilience, values deeply connected to Lincoln's presidency and the survival of the nation during the Civil War. Now let's talk about composition, because this is where modern cents become interesting. Unlike pre-1982 pennies that were primarily copper, the 2013 Lincoln cent is made of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating of 2.5%. This change happened decades ago due to rising copper prices. However, even with this modern composition, minting errors and high-grade preserved examples can transform an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. In 2013, pennies were struck at 3 primary facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, Denver coins display a small d, and San Francisco pieces are typically proof coins struck for collectors with mirror-like finishes. While millions upon millions were produced, rarity does not always depend on mintage numbers alone. Condition is everything. A 2013 penny pulled from circulation will usually show scratches, dull luster, and wear. But a flawless coin graded MS-69 or MS-70 by professional grading services can be astonishingly rare. When we discuss values approaching $779,379, we are not referring to average circulated coins. We are talking about extraordinary cases. These can include dramatic mint errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, or transitional composition mistakes. A dramatic double die on the obverse, where Lincoln's features or the date appear duplicated, can multiply value dramatically. Off-center strikes that still show a full date can command huge premiums. Even rare proof error coins from San Francisco can attract serious attention from elite collectors. The coin market thrives on condition, rarity, demand, and story. If a 2013 Liberty 1 cent were discovered with a unique minting anomaly that exists in only one or two known examples, competitive bidding between high-net-worth collectors could drive the price into astonishing territory. Numismatics is not just about metal, it is about history, scarcity, and prestige. Collectors compete fiercely for registry set perfection, where owning the finest graded example becomes a badge of honor. Imagine searching through rolls of pennies from your local bank. Most people would never expect that a coin dated 2013 could hold significant value. Yet history has proven again and again that modern coins can surprise us. The excitement of coin roll hunting has grown tremendously in recent years, especially with online communities sharing discoveries. A single viral auction can change how collectors view a date that was once ignored. Another factor influencing value is grading certification. When a top-tier grading company encapsulates a coin and assigns it an elite grade, confidence in authenticity and condition increases. Registry collectors seeking the highest-graded 2013 cent could potentially push bidding to extraordinary heights if population reports show extreme scarcity at the top grade. Sometimes only a handful of coins exist at the absolute pinnacle of perfection. Market demand also fluctuates based on economic conditions, precious metal trends, and collector psychology. Even though the 2013 Lincoln cent is not made of solid copper, its historical continuity makes it appealing. It represents more than 100 years of uninterrupted Lincoln cent production, connecting generations of Americans through a single coin design. That emotional and historical connection can amplify demand when rarity is introduced into the equation. Let's not forget the proof versions. Proof 2013 cents from San Francisco were struck with specially prepared dies and polished planchets. These coins display mirror-like fields and frosted devices. In perfect PR-70 condition, with deep cameo contrast, they can command strong premiums. Add a rare mint error to a proof coin, and you have the recipe for explosive auction results. So what should you look for in your 2013 Liberty 1 cent? Examine the date and mint mark carefully. Use magnification to check for doubling on the letters and numbers. Look for unusual thickness, missing design elements, clipped planchets, or dramatic strike misalignments. Check the coin's luster under good lighting. Preserve any potential high-grade coin in a protective holder immediately to avoid scratches. The story of the Lincoln cent is a story of American endurance. From 1909 through today, it has survived metal shortages, design changes, and debates over eliminating the penny entirely. Yet it remains one of the most collected coins in the world. The 2013 issue is part of that long legacy, and under the right circumstances, it can become far more than 1 cent. Collectors who once overlooked modern pennies are now rethinking their strategy. Population reports, registry competition, and the hunt for perfect coins have transformed the modern cent market. And when the market sees a coin that stands alone in quality or rarity, prices can reach incredible levels. The reported market figure of $779,379 represents the kind of dramatic scenario where uniqueness, elite condition, and collector rivalry intersect. This is why at Rare US Coins, we always remind you to never underestimate your pocket change. The next time you receive a handful of pennies, take a closer look. That small copper-colored coin dated 2013 could hold a story waiting to be discovered. It could be a rare error. It could be a top-grade gem. It could be the piece that completes someone's registry set. And in the world of numismatics, that possibility is what keeps collectors searching every single day. If you love learning about hidden values, minting mysteries, and the powerful history behind American coins, make sure you stay connected with Rare US Coins.